Hey, everybody. So it's a weird day. I'm not working. We had a load board meeting today. There was some insurance stuff that people were talking about, uh, just hanging out. And yeah, what's shaking? There's only a few of you around. That's cool. Don't expect a big turnout. Not really worried about it. It's cool. I know some people wanted to hear about load board stuff. And what's up, James? Brian Jess, Matt Nissen, Timothy Ransom. Tim made it first today. How y'all doing? I see ya. I see ya. Nothing official, just hanging out. Blackbeard, what's going on? Timothy, there you are. Blackbeard. James Vaughn, huh? JJ, what's up, man? It has been a while. It's been a minute since I've seen that name. Brian Jess, I see you, sir. Again, like I said, Matt Nissen. And wait. This is the greatest. Meow. I dig it. Oh, good God. Made me choke. Sorry about that. Headed to Decatur. How's the weather up there, man? It's nice down here in Florida. I can tell you that. It's been a beautiful day all day. We had like an hour of gray sky, but it's been blue and beautiful. Kind of glad I'm not working today. I kind of needed an extra day this week. So not expecting, like I said, a whole lot of people to tune in. That's cool. Like I said, this is a random, just kind of pop in and see who's out there and what's going on. And if anyone had any real questions, you are absolutely welcome to ask them. I will answer whatever you got. Uh, we did have a load board meeting today. As of next week, they'll be moving to Tuesdays. So we will be updating those of you who are interested in the load board stuff on the Tuesday shows again, instead of having to wait a week because the meetings were on Wednesdays and now they're being moved to Tuesdays. And so we'll have it for the live show on Tuesday. But this week he didn't get it changed. So yeah, it happened today. Anyhow, so they we're in what they're still calling phase 2, but they apparently got some new people on the dev team. They got a new development leader and some new folks working on that team, and it looks like they're pretty optimistic on things picking up a little bit better. They seem to have a better response out of the people that are working with it now. Uh, their main focus right now is trying to make the user interface a little cleaner, a little better for us. Those of you who haven't seen it, I'll see if I can get a picture up here pretty soon and let you guys see what's going on with that. Uh, so when we look at the load board right now, the the user interface itself is it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty basic, but the loads don't update except every 30 minutes. And that can be a problem, especially with freight being super tight the way it is. So right now they're working towards getting it down to 10 minutes. They want to get that refresh time down to 30 seconds, but they're not sure if they're going to have the bandwidth to do something like that. So that may be an issue down the road. Yeah, midlife trucker. Man, look, there is there is so many problems. AS400. That's all I have to say about that. But yeah, so they're trying to get the refresh down right now down to 10 minutes so that the loads are updated a little more frequently for us, because 30 minutes is a bit of a stretch. You could be looking at loads that are been gone, especially since some of these, they'll book freight, and because things are so tight, planners like, bam, there's a load for this guy that I know needs one, and it's like 10 seconds on there, and it's gone. And we don't get a refresh for 30 minutes. So that's kind of a problem. So they're trying to get it down to at least 10 minutes right now and then work towards getting that 30-second refresh. And then we've been having a problem. It's weird. So we'll see a load. It'll say, let's say, Memphis to Dallas, right? And guys will book it and they'll get dispatched on it. And then all of a sudden it says, yeah, Memphis to Dallas. But you have 3 pickups in Memphis. Just happened to Alan Becker today. He booked the load and he's got 3 pickup locations in Memphis, but it didn't show that on the load in the board. Yeah, it's kind of crazy and it's kind of frustrating for when that happens. So they're working on getting that put in there. So those of you, we had a bunch of people who actually couldn't get into the load board meeting today, so they missed that. That was another reason I want to get this out today, and maybe some of those guys will catch this later on, or they'll be here shortly. Well, I don't know, Tom. They actually are investing quite a bit of money. The problem with it is, let me go back here. Let me actually put your comments up. So Tom Bell said a company with the resources of Night Swift can't manage a project like this in a timely manner. That was a question. And he followed up with that tells me that it's not a priority for them. When I was executive in the newspaper business, we used AS400, but we're able to do a lot in real time, including add users. So it's the problem is the integration between new software and making it work with AS400. And the AS400 system that they're working with is nothing like what AS400 was, right? Because they won't let go of AS400, right? And it's what Jeff and I call HAL 9000 at this point. It's like Franken AS400, and they're so deep into it that it's people who know AS400 even look at this and go, that's interesting. Never seen that before. So it's kind of a weird, and I'm not trying to defend them because I hate the AS400, but that's been like the bane of the whole existence is trying to get the load board itself, which I don't even know how they're programming that or what it's being programmed in to work with the AS400 to make it presentable on the web and come out and integrate back and forth and then do all the things that it has to do in the background through all the propagation means it has to follow through. Look, I agree to a point. They actually lost their entire IT team at one point uh, in a mass exit. They apparently all went to another company that was a new startup, and one of the project leads or IT leads left and took a huge chunk of the IT team with them. That was one of our big problems. Um, it was farmed out to another company. I'm not a huge fan of that company, but I don't want to talk bad about them because I don't want to upset anybody. You dig? I need this thing to hurry up and work. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with you to a point. I do, and it's kind of an interesting thing. I would think that they could get things done a little bit quicker. Um, what we are told is it's the integration issues, getting the new system to talk with the old Franken system. It's not my realm, so I can't speak too deeply on it. All I can do is share the information. Yeah, and I think that is a huge part of it because I'm a, I have this weird imagination where I think it's being outsourced, farmed out, right? For parts of it, some of it is in house, I'm sure, and the outsourced portion of it, I think someone may be looking at this as a long term gold mine. I don't know. Let's make this project last a while. It's a good source of revenue. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna get in trouble saying things like that, but just seems odd sometimes. It frustrates the hell out of me. Frustrates the hell out of a lot of people. I know it frustrates the hell out of Brett Stewart and Jerry White when we don't have a finished product yet. Yet it's been being worked on for so long. You know, the last iteration of the load board, whoever coded it, failed to make it scalable, so they couldn't add any more than, I think it was 50 contractors at the time. That seems like a huge oversight to me. Like they literally couldn't add any more than that to it. Maybe it was 100, something like that. It was some weird number which wouldn't work. I mean, you would think that that would be something you'd look at. You'd like, hmm, is there a ceiling on this? And what can we do to not have that ceiling? But yet there was a ceiling and nobody knew until it was too late. So they had to start over from scratch. I don't know. Bob the Builder was shaking. Look, he's got a dot. He's got a dot. Bob the Builder's got a dot. So yeah, I don't know. So it wasn't a ton of updates, but like I said, there was people who were having trouble getting into the load board meeting, and wanted to get that out there. Barb, what's shaking? Bob said the Swift load board is a pipe dream. Swift wants the load board to fail. How does it benefit them? Actually, I disagree. I don't think it does. I mean, Adam, I don't know, Adam, unless you're calling Adam Miller a liar. I mean, I don't believe the man's a liar. He openly said last night on the show that, they want this stuff to work. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't invest money in it at all. Why would they invest money in something that they want to fail? That seems silly to me and counterintuitive, but I'm just a lowly truck driver, and they've put an awful lot of time and resources into this up to this point. I can't imagine that it's set up for failure, at least not from the leadership standpoint, because like I said, I can't imagine they would put the time and effort into it. And I mean, they're I think they're banking on it. I think it's a huge marketing thing for them down the road, that if they get this working, I mean, we could see quite an increase in the ranks of the contractor force for Swift, which in turn increases bottom line numbers. And it increases those numbers on several different fronts. One through truck sales, one through lower risk involvement. I mean, Brian just said, let's see. I signed a lease based on the load board coming, and now it's never going to happen. So where did that get me? Frustrated dealing planners who won't return message or tell me no freight. So look, I'm sorry that you made a decision based on a product that wasn't completed. I never would have told you to make that decision based on the load board. Um, you know, they've been, that to me was, I don't know. I'm gonna say it was a silly choice, but I don't want you to take it that I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to sound condescending, and I don't know how to say that. I get why you made the decision. I do. And I get that some people in recruiting positions were pushing the load board a little more than I think they should have. I think that they had higher expectations than what reality was. I mean, heck, at one point, Brett kept putting dates on it. Oh, we're going to have this by this date. We're going to have this by this date. Things like that. Just trucking. Are we talking about the Swift load board? Yes, we were. Yes, we are. I mean, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm down. I mean, it's cool. And Bob the Builder, it's already a marketing thing for them. They've been promising a load board for several years now, and they're just bringing everyone along to get drivers. They are marketing the fact that they are developing it. Like I said, I think some people are marketing it incorrectly. I don't agree with the way some people say that, hey, we've got a load board, because while we do have a load board, it's only open to a very select few people who are testing it right now. And, I mean, like Barb said, some of us have been waiting 10 plus years for this. I've been actively fighting for a load board for over 10 years. I've been involved in trying to get something like this for well over 10 years. Uh, oh, look, you always defend Swift. Do you ever have an opinion that's just yours and not what Swift tells you to say? Swift doesn't tell me to say anything. I mean, I know you believe that, Bob, and that's cool. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. Uh, I have lots of opinions that, don't necessarily go along. I mean, but I'm not here to bash anyone either, typically. You know, what good does it do me to just start screaming and yelling about my customer? What good is that going to do me? What good is that going to do anyone here who's trying to get things done? That makes no sense at all. So I mean, you can be upset. I don't know. Are you a contractor here? What are you doing to make things better for you? I don't know. I don't know you personally. I don't know what your journey is. I don't know what you've been doing. Like Barb said, a lot of us have been waiting on this load board for 10 plus years. Brian, just to prove the no freight thing being BS again, I asked repeatedly for a load to get out of the Orlando area, BS loads, and then suddenly once day planners go home, I get a load for pickup the day before. See, Brian, I, I don't know, man. I've sat in the Ocala office and watched loads drop at the end of the day. You know, I don't know, man. They're constantly trying to book freight all day long. I mean, I understand the frustration. I really do. And I know that some folks like Bob here think that I'm just a Swift fanboy and whatever. I'm in business. I'm here to run a business and turn a profit, and I've managed to do that. You know, most almost all the time that I've been here. Typically, when I don't turn a profit, it's my own fault for doing silly things. It's very rarely that it's Swift's fault that I'm not turning a profit. Usually, I can get out and hustle more when I need to. What's up, Craig? Good to see you, buddy. James Vaughn, hello, hello. Midlife Trucker said, I've heard you say a few things Swift wouldn't like. I know you don't. They don't control you. That's why I really like your channel, upfront and open, not just looking for referrals. I've gotten 3 referrals in 10 years. So, whatever. It's cool. Look, people don't have to like me. I'm not that concerned about it. Why would I go to a crappy company that's been promising a load board for 10 years by your own admission, and it's not competent enough to even accomplish that? They have not been promising a load board for 10 years. That's not what I said. What I said is I've been fighting to get a load board for over 10 years. We've been actively trying to get them to start the process of building one, and they weren't open to it for many years. Back in 2016, 2017 was the first time that we even got them to start budging on it. And what we had was a broker program where they negotiated a deal with it was either Echo or Command. I think it was Command started first, and then Echo bought Command. And where we had a group of contractors who were able to call a broker firm. We negotiated rates on our own, and we did our deal that way. And that was a pretty good deal until that company and Swift had a falling out, and then that program went away. And then there was a huge gap between that happening and the next thing they tried to do, which was the Macro 30, which was a little bit better than what was supposed to be better than what Macro 30 is now. For those of you who understand what Macro 30 is, it was supposed to offer multiple loads, not just the 3, but actually more than that. And that didn't work out. And that was a short-lived type of program. And now we just have the standard Macro 30, which doesn't work great for most people. Every now and then it'll work for some. And then there was another large gap between that and what came out. I guess it was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 2.5. I think it was 2.5. Jeff could correct me if I'm wrong. He's better at the timeline. And then we got that load board that where we were running Swift Logistics Freight, right? he lo- Bob likes the show. Bob likes the show better when Jeff is on. Jeff, just so you know, Bob likes it better when you're here, buddy. But I mean that's cool. Like I said, you're entitled to your opinion, man. I mean, I'm not for everybody. Some people, that's cool. I don't know. You don't have to be confrontational. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's cool too. Whatever. I'm not gonna ban you or kick you out or anything like that. I mean, you do you. It's cool. James Vaughn said, I've sat with planners. I watched the AS400 freight. Just bad. Uh, Brian, just the load was supposed to pick up yesterday, 1,000 miles of Ocala to Garland, Texas. Well, again, man, you know, maybe someone fell off of it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's a lot of reasons these things happen. You know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I see them book freight on a regular basis, right up to the minute. And then they're like, hey, look, here's a load. Let's put it out. We see loads pop on the load board at weird times throughout the day that weren't there 10 minutes ago. Jeff can tell you about that as well. Hey, look, Bob, there's Jeff for you. Craig said, freight comes throughout the day. Had them pull my pre-plan for tomorrow to see what would open up today, and an hour later, got a good load that popped up. There you go. Oh, well, Brian just said, oh, well, I got it now, and we'll be over 3,100 miles Monday. So there you go. And like Craig said, making relationships with planners, even if they aren't in your normal running area, pays off. And I agree. I mean, we're constantly saying that, you gotta save those codes. And Brian, I think more people than not would have that same opinion. Every now and then I will get a beautiful load right there. But more times than not, I get no loads available, or it's some crazy nonsense that is just garbage. I mean, absolute garbage, if that. You know. And Bob says he watches the channel for the laughs that he gets. He has said before, you don't have to be a contractor for Swift to be here. Absolutely. And look, here's another plug for Jeff. Jeff comes across as a truthful guy with a lot of knowledge about the market and economy. And that's cool. You are absolutely entitled to your opinion, and that's fine. I think Jeff is absolutely a truthful guy. Uh, I think a lot of people would tell you that I am absolutely truthful. I'm kind of known for that, kind of brutal at times. So, but that's cool. If you don't feel that I'm truthful, I'm sorry for that. I don't know what to tell you. Tom Bell said, I'm hearing too many companies having drivers sitting waiting on freight loads. It's scary. It is. And, that was one of the things that we were talking about with Adam and Jim last night. It's not just us, it's a lot of people. We're seeing a lot of small companies finally thinning out enough that we're going to start seeing that turn come around here fairly soon, hopefully. And, the analytics are showing that end of March, like that 23rd-ish, that type of week time, we should be sitting about the bottom of what they're expecting. And then we're going to have that slow kind of maybe a little bit of up and down, up and down, up and down, kind of little bits, and move from there. And then we should start that climb back out to the normal climb that we would normally have. Timothy Ransom said, freight's so bad that drivers are turning in their trucks at other companies. Seen a lot of those posts in trucking groups. Yeah, and I mean, it's sad. That sucks. But I mean, let's just be real. When honestly, the more people who depart the industry and take that route, the more freight's going to become available. And when the turn comes, they'll all come back. Let's just be real. And Tom Bell said your judgment is suspect. talking about me because I jumped out of perfectly good aircraft. I disagree about that perfectly good aircraft thing. Most of the aircraft I exited were very scary. And even on the civilian side, most of them were very scary. Landing in an aircraft is a sketchy thing to me. I don't mind taking off so much, and flying level isn't so bad. Taking off is sketchy as hell to me. I don't know why, but it's not. I'm not a fan. So I'd much rather exit an aircraft in flight. I feel it's much safer that way, even though I'm terrified of heights. Hey Nick, what's going on, man? Brian, Jess, people don't like brutal, honestly, Charlie. I have that problem myself. I always say, don't ask if you don't want the answer. I run into that a lot. I get that a ton. And those of you who've spoken to me on the phone know that I'm a little bit different on the phone. I have a lot more of a potty mouth. I try to keep myself a little cleaner here because we do have a broader audience. And, I try to maintain a slightly more professional vocabulary on the air because, yeah, I mean, I'm not out to offend people. When we're talking on the phone, you guys that have talked to me know that I am a bit of a potty mouth there. So, it just is what it is. Tim said, I have independent drivers ask me if Swift has loads. Yes and no. Sometimes it depends what day, what time, where, right? Cali Hustle, yesterday you mentioned to them about owner op truck numbers. They had nothing to say, crickets. Although, you know what? I was, so I don't know if you guys are body language people. They did actually acknowledge it through body language. So I don't know. Maybe that's something we can actually pursue. Um, they didn't say anything about it, but maybe that's something we can ask more about, right? Because Adam's like, I mean, he kind of got an eyebrow raise. Because he wasn't here when we had that system, right? Um, they came in after that. Jim Fitzsimmons was here when we had the different numbering system for contractors and company trucks. So he knows about it, I'm sure. But Adam wasn't here for that. So maybe we could spark something there. I think that'd be a good thing personally because like we said, there is a different model that we run and different requirements for freight and things like that. So I think that should be taken into consideration without us having to say, "Hey, I'm a contractor," because a lot of there are those planners out there like, "Oh, you're telling me you're a contractor," and you can almost hear the eye roll to the phone sometimes if you actually get them on the phone. So. Oh, Tom Bell, Delta gets upset if you try to exit during flight. That is absolutely true. Do you know that they won't let you on their aircraft with a parachute in your hand? Just saying. They won't do it. Tried. They're like, no, can't do it. Greg said my friend at ATS got a pay cut. He's a company driver. That sucks. That's something I actually heard them say in that Mother Trucker video that they did with Dave Jackson and Adam Miller and the other folks that they had. And that's something that they really don't ever even want to talk about. And it's that's I mean, Jeff and I actually went through a contractor pay cut where our contract was amended to show a penny drop in our mileage rate back in, good God, it was a long time ago. We went from 96 cents a mile down to 95 cents a mile, I think is what it was. And while it was only a penny, I mean, that penny adds up over time. But it was a really bad time in the company, and they were really hurting, and there was lots of bad things happening, and we took it. And I mean, that was your option. You could take the pay cut, or you could move on. And you know, quite a few people decided to take it and keep doing things, and eventually we got it back and actually started getting rate increases after that. So, yeah. Uh, Brian said, Cat Hustle, you got that right. I thought I was alone in catching that. No, and yeah, it was kind of crickets vocally, but I was watching people's faces. So I don't know. Tom Bell said, when looking for a company driver job, look for 6-digit DOT numbers. They've weathered this stuff before. Right, Bob? You were released from the military during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I don't know. When was that? I got out in 95. You tell me. Not sure why that would matter, but okay. I mean, if it's something to you, you tell me. Maybe I shouldn't. Oh, wait. Maybe I shouldn't ask. Maybe you shouldn't ask. Maybe I shouldn't tell. I don't know. Are you trying to make implications or something like that? That's cool. Oh man. Yeah, Tom, there was. It was crazy, man. They actually amended the contract and it was one of those weird deals where you accepted it or you left. It sucked. It did. It was brutal, man. I mean, it was a penny, but you're like, "Man, really? You're going to pay me less?" And like I said, I think we were at 96 cents is what I started my contract at, and with the penny cut it dropped me to 95. So yeah, it was kind of crappy. Uh Tom Bell, I was briefly in lease 9 weeks at Archer. They changed rates. Then 15 weeks at Christensen. I decided to make more as a W-2 company driver, 100K. But that's a pretty good, yeah, nothing wrong there. Why aren't are you asking me, Bob? Why aren't I using the insurance that I recommend? Let's just let's just get that clear real quick. Quick yes or no. Are you talking to me, Bob? Uh Nick said Archer was good until they changed the contract. I don't know anything about that company, honestly. I don't know anything about most companies, to be fair. My focus has always been Swift. I worked for FFE for a time. Wasn't not a fan. Didn't like getting pushed to run multiple logs. Just didn't like it. Didn't like having to try and keep up with the nonsense that I was putting in a paper book. Honestly, the reason I came to Swift is I knew they were going to electronic logs, and that was a big selling point for me. And the amount of freight they had back in the '08, it was pretty good. You, Tom, and Jason Pope were all there at the same time. Is that who you're talking about, Nick? At Archer, I'm assuming here's what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I've heard some different stories about the place and different things that happened there, and honestly, I'm just not real up on that stuff. Honestly, heard good, bad, ugly. I mean, all kinds of nonsense. I mean, having not been there myself, I couldn't really speak on it. So, Bob, if you were asking me, I'll go ahead and answer your question as if you were asking me, why aren't you using the insurance you recommend? I was actually the first binder they signed to that insurance deal. Um, the day that I signed up for my insurance, they were on the hook to pay for that binder for many, 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 many people, and I was very nervous about it, whether or not enough people would sign up to even make it profitable for Seabright. So I was actually the very first customer of that insurance, and that is what I'm using right now. So yes, I don't know where you got the impression that I wasn't using the insurance that I'm recommending. Not sure where you got the impression though. So there. Excuse me. But if you guys got other things you want to talk about, I'm down. I don't know anything about Archer, so can't really talk to you about that. What else you got more questions about the insurance, Bob? I don't know. You seem interested in it. It's it's only available to you if you're a Swift contractor, which you said you were not. So I don't know. Wait a minute, really? Your Archer dispatcher was in Poland. She couldn't understand why it would take me 3 hours to go from Chattanooga to Jefferson, Georgia. Had to explain about mountains, rivers, and towns. That's crazy. That I can't even imagine working like that. Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, that seems crazy to me. Dealing with someone that's not even in the country you're working in, except maybe Canada. Then I guess it makes sense. When I ran Canada, like Canada proper, not just above I-40, but Canada proper, I guess I was dealing with people in the US, but yeah, wow. Your dispatcher was straight from Moscow, here in the main office, but not great. Huge fan of the USSR. Hey, that's a trip. So wait, where did they work from Moscow, or they were just from Moscow? I'm sorry, I'm a little slow today. I apologize. I think you're saying they were from Moscow, but they worked in the main office at Archer. I think that's what you're saying. I don't know. What the hell? I gotcha. Sorry, Nick. I'm a little slow today, man. Hey, by the way, if anyone wants to call in, feel free. Does the Swift insurance have gap coverage? So the gap coverage that Swift has is a weird deal. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I know that IEL will get the gap covered through the insurance that is provided to them. It's a weird wording. I believe the correct answer is the gap is covered. How's that if you're on the Swift insurance? Um, yeah, that was the way it was explained to me. Uh, there's 416 pages of policy. You are more than welcome to call up Transtar and those people and ask them for that stuff, and you're more than welcome to go through that. It was a lot of confusing speak, uh, but the it's not listed in the physical damage portion of what we are provided when we get their insurance. However, in the insurance that we're getting through Seabright, we know for a fact that there is a gap plan in there if you so choose that option. So, yeah. So, if it's not available to outside contractor, what happens if they decide to leave Swift? That's just as bad. They all of a sudden don't have insurance. Actually, they will have insurance. They just won't have the rate negotiate that we negotiated for Swift contractors. It will chances are that the rate will probably go up, and it may or may not. I mean, I guess it'll be dependent on the DOT number that they went to, but we did manage to negotiate a pretty substantially low rate, being that we are comparable to what Swift is charging now with a whole lot more coverage. So, I can only assume that it would go up. According to what Tony Dennis was saying, he believed that if you left Swift, they could still cover you, but he believed that the price would go up. Uh, Brian Jesser, if we keep giving Ukraine our weapons, maybe they'll blow up Moscow, and then we won't have that Archer problem anymore. Okay. I don't know. Again, don't know anything about the Archer issues. It's just, Bob, that the rate that we negotiated at the price point that we're at with the amount of coverage and the type of coverages we are at is strictly based on Swift's DOT number and the program that we built for Swift contractors and Contractors Corner people. Hope that answers your question. By the way, for anyone who missed it and is not aware, the fuel surcharge was 0.505 and the West Coast was 10. Imagine the company that has no load planners. The dispatchers all control areas and can build you a load if necessary. Of course, we have no open trucks. Yeah, seems pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, would be an amazing system. And I've seen stuff like that. You know, it does require, yeah, a lot of work. How big a company? What else you got for me, Bob? You're pretty active today. I dig it. I don't mind. By the way, like I said, if any of you want to call in, feel free. I'll throw the number up there for you in case you don't have it. 813-548-3722 is the number if you'd like to call. You'll talk to a robot and tell them who you are, and then I'll see it and we'll take your call. You are fun, Bob. I'm digging you. Tom Bell, it's strange at first not having a dedicated dispatch of 350 trucks. That's actually pretty good then. Bob said, so since it was 416 pages, you didn't read the contract? Actually, the portion of what my coverage was, I did read. The 416 pages is the entire auto policy for all of the Night Swift auto policy contract, of which ours is commingled throughout it. And I was able to have our portion pointed out to me so I could read our portion. Is that an adequate answer for you, Bob? Rank number 328 on the top 500 carrier list. Hey, I dig it, man. Look, if you're at a place that's good to you and meets your needs, whether you're company or contractor, I won't ever knock you for that. You know what I mean? I think you know that about us, Tom. I mean, hell, I wouldn't tell someone to leave a good thing to come here and possibly struggle, especially if they're not ready to. I don't know why anybody would ever do that. That's completely crazy. That's crazy. Excuse me. May not be a Swift contractor, but I learned stuff at every contractor's corner. Hey, look, man, we try, and I know today is not our typical show. It really was. I was hanging out and thought, hey, let's throw one up and see what happens. And we had that load board meeting, and that really was all what it was all about. You haven't seen the pictures of that? Any of those pictures? It's actually pretty cool. It's still not done. He's got to do all the finish work. He's got most of the framing and that sort of stuff done. And sorry, I'm getting other messages. And it's pretty amazing. Like seriously, because he's actually got like this whole work. He's got a freaking office chair, kind of like the one I'm sitting in right now, like my big razor chair. He's got a legit gaming chair in his truck. And that I can tell you, I am 100% jealous of. James said I would, but I got a house full of people here at the house. Hey, it's all good, James. You cracked me up. Oh. You're funny, man. No, dude, it's just we got to keep that group to verified Swift contractors. That's the agreement we made, and that's what we stick to. It's nothing personal. If you're on Facebook, man, hit him up. I'm sure he's willing to send you pictures. Seriously, he'll PM them to you. He's proud of what he did. It was pretty amazing, seriously, dude. So like when he was sending me pictures of while he was tearing apart and then remodeling inside, the pictures, I swear to God, it looked like he was remodeling inside a house. Like it was crazy. It tripped me out. Brian Jess, back to planner issues. Send a direct message to the contact I have in Lancaster, and he said contact another person and gave a code. Typical to most planners, you send direct message, no response. And that is that there's a huge problem there. I agree. Bob, what I said is that there is a gap coverage that covers the gap for our trucks. Whether or not it is specifically attached to my insurance policy or if it's a policy that they carry on the back end, I was unclear. I know that the gap is covered as long as you have insurance through Swift. That is what I can say. I know that with the insurance through Seabright, that my gap is covered for me by my insurance. Through the Swift side, it's a little vague and a little weird. It's a little muddy, and I've been pretty open about that sort of thing. So yeah. So just so everybody knows what I'm talking about, Bob said, so you read the Swift insurance contract, but you don't know if it has gap coverage or not. I did say there was gap coverage. I just don't know exactly how it's stated as far as how it's assigned. Because when I asked directly those people, they couldn't explain it directly. So, if the professionals can't explain it directly, I'm just saying. Uh Tom, there is the Swift, what is it? Swift drivers, employees, and family group. You could hop in that one. We're active in there as well. Hmm. That's a good question, James, and you could not get an answer out of me on that one. I don't know. They don't know. Anyone who gives you an ETA right now is pulling a number out of the hat. Blackbeard, do you think the load board will be ready this year? I hope so. Again, couldn't tell you. It could be nice. It would be absolutely nice if they would straight up have some amazing things happen and they make some great strides and it starts getting released and opened up to a lot more people real quick. Hey Jeff, Tom Bell says a YouTube truck tour video could be in order. I agree. I think that's a fine idea. Uh, uh, Tom, you know what? It's kind of a hit and miss. Kind of a hit and miss. Try it out. See what happens. Brian said, my contact Lancaster just sent me a load. Some of these guys and gals are awesome at following up, and others just ignore you. Or Isaac is watching this 5 star 5 star voice your choice coming up for Isaac, no doubt. Hey, it could happen. It's possible. Hey, I believe that like any industry and any part of those industries, you have the good, the bad, you have the mediocre who just do what they have to do to get by, right? And you have those who are far and above, head and shoulders above the rest. And those are the people you look for and you want to keep doing business with. And you find the ones who are subpar and you try not to work with those folks. You know, plus you're a butthead. Just take a poll. you know, I'm sure Bob would agree with you that I am worse than that. So there you go. I know quite a few other people who would agree that I'm worse than that. So that's cool too. I mean, look, we're all each of us is not for everyone, right? The trick is how do you deal with that? You know, you can get mean, you can get angry, you can get ugly, whatever. I try to deal with people with facts and numbers. People say, "Oh, well, you said this. Back that up," and I try to back what I say up. If you have some sort of fact to the contrary, then by all means, show that. Let's see it. I'm not opposed to learning something new. I think it's great. I look. I strive to learn new things every day. That's kind of my goal every day is to learn something new. I think it's awesome. I think a good day is when I get to learn more than something, one thing. I agree, Tom. I agree. Gabe said he stopped into Memphis to pick up a new registration. Started truck and was sitting here looking at my route, and suddenly my dash started jumping with an alarm saying starter blocked, shift to neutral. Oh, that sounds fun. Jay wants to know, anyone ever seen this alarm? Bob said, but you got on other YouTubers for going by what the professional said and not the contract. But that's exactly what you did. That's actually not what I did. And that's not what, see, now I know where you're going, Bob, and that's cool. You want to go there? We can go there. That's not what other YouTubers did. What other YouTubers did was they said that they read the contract multiple times and that it was what they were talking about was not in the contract, when in fact, what they were talking about was in the contract, Bob. It was clearly stated in black and white. And we can actually dip into this. For instance, when Todd said that, you know, you can pay off your truck early, since you brought it up and you're getting specific now. Todd said you could pay your truck off early, and that he didn't, he was told you could pay your truck off early, and that it wasn't in the contract that you couldn't. Where line 18 in our contract specifically says you can only pay off your truck early if the lessor, meaning IEL, says you can, right? It's at their discretion. And then what he backed that up with was uh, Brett Stewart doing a video where him and Ian DeGray were talking about an individual who paid their truck off early. That's not proof that you can, that everybody can. That's proof that they allowed that guy to do that because he went in and negotiated that deal. So I think what you're saying is not actually factually correct. And the professional I was talking about was the insurance professional, the person who is our guidance on this very specific topic that you and I were speaking about earlier. So yeah, hope that helps you out a little bit. I'm sure it won't, because I mean you seemingly just want to argue, and that's cool. I mean, whatever. Sometimes I get in that mood too, I guess. Gabe said that, asked if anyone had seen an alarm. He said it's in neutral the entire time. Uh, you know, have you tried resetting the batteries, Gabe? I know it sounds silly, but do you have a battery interrupt? If not, or if you do, try turning your batteries off for like 5 or 10 minutes. It seems simple or maybe a pain in the backside, but man, that fixes a lot of these weird little glitches that pop up. A lot of times it's just a weird glitch in the software or a weird sensor, and disconnecting the batteries will square that away. And this is funny. I actually had a glitch recently. Did a little video on it, and that was the fix for the glitch. Was a 5 minute kill switch on the battery. And Brian, yeah, we aren't for everyone. Exactly. That's why they created hugs and participation trophies. And Brian said, Gabe only seen that when it wasn't a neutral. Kill the stock switch. Uh, there you go. And like Tom Bell said, the battery switch is usually the cure for everything. So coming back to Bob, did you take the Swift insurance contract to a lawyer to be looked over like you recommend? I saw you criticize Trucker's coach for not taking his contract to a lawyer. So what I said, you are awesome. I feel like I feel like this is an interesting thing. Um, yeah, I feel like you should get on the phone and we should talk, Bob. You should call the number 813-548-3722 because this would go a lot smoother if we actually just talked on the phone instead of having to go back and forth through this text medium. I mean, if you want to argue, let's talk. You know what I mean? I didn't criticize him for not taking his contract to a lawyer. What I have said is that I took my contract to a lawyer, and that I have said that if you don't understand your contract, and I say this to everyone, that if you don't understand your contract, by all means, pay someone to read it to you, pay a lawyer to read it to you. Absolutely. It's a Florida number. No, it's cool, Brian. I have some thoughts, and I've got 12 things going on. But yeah, so I did not take the insurance to a lawyer to have them read that to me. I took it to an insurance professional and had them explain it to me, who was not the Swift professional. That's what I did. I had Tony Dennis, who is a professional in the industry, discuss with me the ups and downs of my coverage with Swift. That's what I did. How's that? Nick says he doesn't remember me criticizing him. I've actually spoken to Jason. So I don't know. I don't think Jason and I have a problem. Um, when someone puts out information that is factually incorrect, I typically get phone calls. I typically get a lot of phone calls. And people say, "Hey man, I thought it was this way, and I just heard on this show or that show that they're saying it's this way. Which way is it?" And I break out the contract and I say, "Well, according to the contract it's this, or according to the numbers, these are the numbers." That's what I do. Some people don't like that. So, I mean, whatever. I don't have sweet tea. I don't drink sweet tea. I drink Mountain Dew. Zero. Gabe said he killed the batteries once, but leaving it off for 15 now and going to try again shortly. Thanks. Yeah, it's worth a shot, Gabe, honestly. I mean, that seems to fix a lot of these things. If that doesn't work, man, I honestly don't know what to do for you, buddy. Tom Bell. Florida, no thank you. Two types of mosquitoes there. The ones that come through the hole in the screen and the ones who kick you in the door. Like for real. And this past year was pretty exceptional. All right, Bob, what do you got? Todd has said on this video that it says it's at the company's discretion. He also showed two people at Swift that said you could pay the truck off early. He showed Brett Stewart and Ian DeGray talking about someone that had paid their truck off early. That is what he showed in that video that you're referring to. They did not say that everyone could do that. They said that this individual was in a position to do this, and they did that. That's what they said. And then he showed the clip where Michelle said that right now IEL is not allowing that option. That's how that went. That was his rebuttal to that. And so I mean, yeah, I mean, look, so Todd, because of you pushing this for Todd on Todd's behalf, is going to get on his show tomorrow and he's going to slam me for speaking his name and saying all these bad things. And I wouldn't have even brought Todd up today had you not brought these things up, right? So I just want to be clear about that. It was not my intention to get on here and speak about Todd and the things that he and I disagree on. But you keep pushing this, and that's cool. I mean, I'll talk to it. I don't have a problem with it personally. You know, it's fine. When company representatives say something that is at the company's discretion, we are not to believe them. It specifically states it's at the company's discretion. Yes, that is what it says. But that is not what was being said prior to recently. Several people, Todd included, and Jason, were saying that you can pay your truck off early. End of story. They were saying that Swift told them you could finance the balloon payment. End of story. And that's what people were going on. They were taking them at their word, Todd and Jason at their word. And Jason has come out and said, hey, I put out some factually incorrect information. He said this week that, hey, I put out some information that, I thought was right and was incorrect. I haven't heard Todd say that. Just saying. Bob says, that's honestly what got me watching you and Todd. He seems like he's trying to help people, and I don't know why you give him such a hard time. The only time look, this guy has spent weeks and weeks and weeks telling people that he can't believe how people would listen to us. Yet he's been in the company, I don't know, less than 6 months, maybe 6 months. I don't know. When he came here, Jeff and I offered to introduce him to everyone that we know in the company. We truly did. He may say something different. That's fine. We tried nothing but to help. He swears that we're out to destroy him. He thinks that we want to be big YouTubers. We're not trying to be YouTubers. That's not our game. That's never been our game. Jeff and I are trying to build a consulting firm because what we do is we help contractors run a better business. We're not trying to be YouTubers. Do you think Swift is concerned about the amount of views or getting monetized on YouTube? Do you think Dad is concerned about the amount of views that they get on YouTube? No, they're trying to reach people, and it's a marketing tool. It's a way for us to speak with people in a format. It's a media. It's a medium for us to speak to people. I'm not trying to be monetized. Jeff and I are not trying to be monetized on YouTube. Yet he keeps telling people that, oh, they just, they're trying to clout chase. They want to be, big time YouTubers, and we don't care. I told Todd from day one, we never had any aspiration to ever be monetized. I could care less what Todd does as long as he's putting out accurate information. That's it. That's all we've ever said. We actually tried to work things out. We tried to work things out with Todd, but Todd was upset with us because we wouldn't endorse his OIDA insurance option. Let's be clear and frank about this. Because we wouldn't endorse and get behind his OIDA insurance option, we clearly were terrible people. How's that? He was adamant that we were out to destroy him. He swears that we were trying to get his insurance canceled. That's not what happened. you need to understand the history at Swift and the history between Swift and OIDA. For years, OIDA was trying to get Swift's contractor program shut down because they didn't like it. So Swift and OIDA had a battle going on for years, right? Because of that, when OIDA started offering insurance, Swift said, "The hell with that. We won't accept OIDA's insurance. No contractor at Swift will be able to use OIDA insurance." And so for years, you could not use OIDA insurance if you were a Swift contractor. They made the requirements set so that no matter what OIDA did, they would change the requirements so that OIDA insurance wouldn't cover it. Period. And when Todd went out and got OIDA insurance, it was a shock to everyone. And what I did was I called Brett. I said, "Hey," actually, I was in Phoenix. I didn't call him. I walked into his office because I was there doing other things. And I said, "Hey, can we take OIDA insurance now?" I'm like, because we had that war going on and we couldn't take OIDA insurance for the longest time. He's like, "I know it's crazy because we were at war with OIDA for the longest time, but that war is gone. And now we can take OIDA insurance." And I was like, "Okay, cool." That was the end of it. That was the end of the conversation. It was all over. And when Todd set up his deal with OIDA, we said, "Okay, great. You got insurance. That's nice. Jeff and I will look into it on our own, because what we do is we do our own research. We're not taking someone else's word for a product that they want us to endorse. We're going to do our own due diligence, and we will look into various insurance options." We looked at True North. We were trying to see if ES Advantage and their people could set something up that would work for us. So, I mean, and we looked at the OIDA insurance option. And the more I looked at OIDA, the less I liked their insurance policy. But when we told Todd that we would not openly endorse the OIDA option, it's not that we told people not to get OIDA at the time. Hell, we told them, look, True North is more expensive. OIDA is cheaper. We're working on another option that we're trying to build something special for us. Do what you need to do. That's fine. That's cool. Don't worry about it. But Todd said we were openly trying to destroy him. That's something that's never happened. I've never spoken to anybody at Swift and told them not to talk to Todd. That's crazy. I wouldn't do that. It's not something I would do. I don't care. I just don't care. I wouldn't tell my customer how to run their business. That's completely crazy. Let's see. I'm coming back to you, Bob. But you obviously didn't understand your Swift insurance contract and you didn't take it to a lawyer. I understood enough about the insurance at the time that I was comfortable having what I had. And the more I looked into it, then we had other options. So a professional insurance person looked at your Swift insurance policy and there was still some gray areas that weren't understood. There were portions that I didn't particularly understand. You're right. I still don't understand it. You're right. This is something that I can do. I can say I don't know. And that's cool. Going back to Brian, I signed my contract May 25th, 2022. Sue and Michelle were both very clear that Swift would not finance my balloon. I spoke to both of them over 6 months while making my decision to lease. There you go. I mean, I've known Michelle for, a decade. And I've heard people say, "Oh, I heard Swift will finance my balloon." And I call her, I'm like, "Michelle." She's like, "No, we don't know." And with the MRP program, they've been saying, "We don't know because we haven't got to the end." I mean, depending on what the market's doing, we might at the end, but we don't know. We can't say we will or we won't right now. Back to you, Bob. You get a lot of phone calls, but only 20 people are watching your show right now, and less than 300 have watched your interview with the leaders of Swift after you promoted them for a month. See, I'm pretty sure Bob the Builder is Todd. I'm going to go out on a limb and just say that because that's exactly what Todd texted me, I don't know, an hour ago. And that's cool. I mean, whatever. I mean, if you want to use a different name, that's cool. And if it's not, that's fine too. But it's a little amusing that those are almost identical to the words that I got texted just less than an hour ago. But that's cool. Let's move on past that. So, Bob, here's the deal, right? We have, let's see. I mean, if we're going to talk numbers, in the private Facebook group, we have 253 members that are verified Swift contractors. In the company, we have 1,800 contractors, right? I mean, if you want to fight numbers, I mean, if that is who I think it is, like I said, I think it's Todd, but if it's not, fine. Bob, please call in 813-548-3722. I'd love to talk to you on the phone. How's that? 813-548-3722. So 253 verified contractors divided by 1,800 current contractors at Swift. That is 14% of the possible market of Swift contractors, right? Show me a company that wouldn't be ecstatic to have 14% of their market. Okay? That's a pretty good number. We have 14% of the Swift contractors in our private group. How many people can you tell me are verified that watch Todd's channel? I don't know. I don't think Todd can tell me that either. And that's fine. I mean, you keep harping on the numbers. That's cool. Fine. Let's talk numbers. Our channel has 792 subscribers, right? And, there's a chunk of those that, actually came over when Todd and Jason and Narc and all that blew up back in whenever the hell that was. And that's cool too. But on average, I believe the last average I had was somewhere around 255 views for our live weekly show. So 255 divided by what I say that number was, 792 right now. That's 32% of our subs. 32% of our subs watch our weekly show. 32%. It's a pretty good number. I don't know. 32%. Just throwing that out there. Those of you who are into analytics, you'll understand those numbers. So yeah, Bob, I mean, by all means, please call in. Let me look at the phones. Did you call in yet? I don't see a call yet, Bob. I mean, let's talk. Call in, Bob. They're saying you pay your truck early because that is what Swift was saying as he showed in his video. He has also said several times it was at Swift's discretion, but you don't give him cred. Oh, no. If I saw him say that it was at Swift's discretion, I would have said that. I honestly can't say that I've seen him say that it was Swift's discretion. If he said it might have been recently. I don't know. I do try to watch most of his videos so I can see what's being said. I'm open about watching Jason and Todd's videos. People who know me know that I watch almost all of them, and I try to watch as much as I can because I like knowing what's going on. I mean, Jeff doesn't. I do. So, yeah. So, Bob, call in, buddy. 813-548-3722. The phone line is open right now. You are free to call. No waiting. Waiting for you, buddy. Call on in, buddy. We're waiting. Everybody wants to hear you. We'll give you all the time you want to talk about right now. Look, Craig wants you to call in too. Sounds like Bob is just jealous that they didn't help broker the insurance deal that is comparable, if not better than Swift, to get a slice. Tom Bell said, why do you care if he gives Todd credit, Bob? After all, their channel is small, as you said. Yeah, really. I mean, we're such a tiny channel. Who cares what we say? I mean, Tom Bell said, "Well, kind of. When you look at the analytics, you'll be surprised how many non-subscribers watch your videos. I can actually tell you that number. I believe the last time I checked, it was somewhere around 78 or 80% uh, of our views are actually subscribers. And yeah, we're not trying to be YouTubers. I just want to be clear here because we keep getting called YouTubers, and it's not there's anything wrong with being a YouTuber. It's just not what it is that we're doing. That's all. Our insurance is far better than what Todd has at OIDA, and I would agree with that. Bob said, I don't think that's true. I remember him saying that if you guys came out with a better insurance option, that he would switch to your insurance. Well, I don't think he will. I think he's going to die on the hill that he's standing on at this point. I don't know, because I can tell you right now that the insurance that we're getting through Seabright is 100% better than what OIDA is offering. 100% better, and a comparable price to Swift. Cheaper doesn't mean better. If you're saving $100 or $200 on the OIDA insurance, I mean, since we're talking about that specific topic, um, I can tell you that here's a great way to look at it. Excuse me. I actually did a post earlier on this on the group where I was talking about this, and I gave an example. Let me see if I can find that real quick because I don't want to go back and do the math right now. Where'd that go? I think. Oh, here it is. So, with the current market drop in the used truck market, right? We've seen a 20% drop year over year from last year to this year. They're expecting the used truck market to continue to drop this year in a drastic manner. So let's say that we see another 20% drop between now and November, right? So as of 2 weeks ago, when I had my truck valued on the market with 80,000 miles on it, my truck was valued at 195 to $205,000. Yet I purchased the truck, or the total purchase price will be $201,000. My stipulated loss value is about $192,000 right now. If there's another 20% drop by November of 23, that would bring the market value down to between 156,000 to 164,000, right? While my stipulated loss value in November will be 179,000. So if I were to total my truck in November, and these things happen like they're expecting to, and we see another 20% drop by that time, then the OIDA insurance would only pay that 179,000 less the deductible, right? Which means that I would be on the hook to IEL for anywhere from $23,000 to $15,000 to meet the stipulated loss value at that current time. Yet I know for a fact that with the insurance I have now, that were that to happen, my stipulated loss value is absolutely going to be covered. I know that the OC Act that I'm getting now is a better coverage than what I was getting through Transtar, Ace Chubb, and Mojave. I know that the bobtail insurance is better. I know that the service is going to be better because I've already seen that. And I know that OIDA does not offer gap no matter what on a lease purchase. So I already know that the insurance is better. I know how the claim process will work because we talked to Tony Dennis about how that will handle. We specifically, I mean, Jeff was going through a claim with the Transtar people just last week, and specifically asked Tony, how would this have been handled with you differently than how it's being handled with him right now through Transtar? And Tony said, I already would have paid the claim, and we would have your parts on the way, and your truck would be getting fixed, and you wouldn't be there more than 2 days. Yet he's just now being able to head back and pick up his truck a week later. I don't think OIDA would have been any quicker. So, Bob, again, call in, man. I mean, you've got all these beefs with me on Todd's behalf. Call in, let's talk. Because typing is tedious. Let's have a back and forth. Let's have a conversation. We're grown men. I'm assuming with the name Bob, you're a man. So let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue. Let's go back and forth. Let's not scream at each other. Let's speak like adults and see where this goes, right? I mean, I'm down. I'm giving you the offer. You're right here. But I don't see you calling in, buddy. Just saying. I'm looking at the screen and it's not there. And like I said, I mean, it's cool. Sorry to all of you that are watching this train wreck happen. It wasn't meant to be something like this. It just seems to evolve. But that's cool. I mean, whatever. You know, I mean, people are what they are. Let me catch up on the chat. Oh, Bob said he doesn't. He's not going to call, and he doesn't have a beef with him. I'm just asking questions. I think it's really mature of him and Todd both that they won't work this out. There's nothing to work out. There's absolutely nothing to work out. All he has to do is put out correct factual information and quit talking trash about us. He keeps telling people that, he thinks we're trash. Yet when I went on his channel in the middle of him talking trash to us, because for, I don't know, 3 weeks straight, he told everybody that our channel was garbage, yet he wouldn't name the channel. He just like, those other guys that run that private channel with the little YouTube channel and, they think they're consultants and that kind of thing. And I don't know why anyone would listen to them. And then when he did the show with Michelle Cantrell that Tuesday, and then I was in there answering questions in chat, what he openly said was, "Oh, that's Charlie Mann. He's from Contractors Corner. Those guys are great. They are a wealth of information. Those guys are awesome. By all means, you guys should, listen to them." And then the next week, he didn't say anything about us at all. And then he went back to talking trash again. I'm genuine. I I'm genuine. I have not flip flopped on any of this. I don't know. Yet 1 minute I'm trash, then I'm okay, then we're great, we're a wealth of information, and we really knew our stuff, and then we're back to trash again. How does that work? Which one was the lie? Was the lie that we are garbage, or was the lie that we are a great source of information and knowledge? How's that? Answer that question, Bob. You still there, Bob? Can you answer that question for me? Which statements are the lie? That Contractors Corner are garbage and a terrible, terrible place, and we give terrible advice, or that we are a wealth of information and real solid people. One of those, I mean, they can't both be right, can they? It's either one is a lie and the other is factual, or the other way around. So, I mean, you go for it. I mean, that's cool, whatever. I think it's interesting. But, that's my problem with all this. Again, sorry guys for all this. I'm here. I'm willing to talk, but let me let me just say that I'm looking at the phone system and I don't see a call from Bob. The phones have been open for an hour and 6 minutes, and there's no call from Bob. So, you know, uh, look, Gabe wants you to call in, Bob. Let's go, Bob. Let's go. Call, call, call. Blackbeard said, when I got my truck, it was 79,000. Right now it's valued at 89. And again, like I said, right now the market is great right now, brother. Um, this year they're expecting some serious dropping in prices, right? So let's take your $89,000 value, right? And say a 20% drop. So that's 89,000. Oops, that was too many zeros. Minus $17,800 would be 20%. That drops it down to 71, right? Just saying. For those of us with even newer trucks and higher value trucks right now, I mean, that you saw, what you heard, I should say. You heard the numbers that it's going to affect us. So I mean, that's pretty drastic. Again, Bob, I don't see you calling, buddy. John, the phone number for the insurance. Let me get that scrolling for you. Let me click on this button. Just sign up for the Contractor's Corner insurance right here. That phone number should be coming across the bottom of your screen, buddy. 800 366 6466. Make sure you tell them you are a Swift contractor and you're looking to get the Contractor's Corner rate. If you don't tell them you're looking for the Contractor Corner rate, you won't get it, and that's a problem because the rate will be higher. And we've had a couple of people sign up and not mention Contractor's Corner, and their rate was higher, and things had to be fixed. So, yeah. I absolutely do use Let's Truck. I love it. Been using it. I think I got about 1.5 million miles worth of tracking on it. Hey Tom, I look, man, like seriously. I mean, even just last week, I think it was, maybe the week before, we have tried to not be dicks, right? We've even said, hey, Todd made a video about the Samsara camera. Go check out Todd's channel. I think Todd mentioned something about this or that. You know, we don't have a problem doing that. When it's factual information and he's got the information, why not? Right? I have no problem doing that. He can't do that in reverse. Hell, he won't even mention our name except when he's talking trash about us, right? So I don't know, whatever. In fact, he won't even do that when he's talking trash. So whatever. But yeah, Tom, I agree, man. Uh, I think it's a solid app too, dude. And CW, I'm trying, man. Uh, you know, but I unfortunately you've missed quite a lot over the last few weeks. I do apologize, and there's been an awful lot of stick poking, and there's only so much stick poking an individual will take before they start, poking back, right? And we've taken the high road, we've taken our punches, and not said anything, and haven't named people until here recently, and I'm tired of not naming people. I will call it out as it happens. So, I apologize if it's uncomfortable or not up to certain people's viewing pleasure. I'm sorry for that. And we try not to make it a regular thing. And like I said, today's kind of a weird show, anyhow. I mean, this really wasn't even a planned thing. I just happened to be home, and we had a load board meeting today that, I figured we'd talk about because I know a bunch of people who were supposed to be in the meeting couldn't even get into the meeting. And that started a whole nother drama. So forget about that. How do you use Let's Truck with ES Advantage when it gets 2 digits instead of 3? Just a question. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by the 2 digits instead of 3. You talking about the price? Back to Tom Bell. I picked up I picked the right parking place at Caddo Mills. My dash cam was catching a ton of U-turns in the parking lot. I'll be speaking putting it to music. Nice. Like the gallons. Well, just pull that off of the pump, man. I take the information straight off the pump personally because I want the absolute accurate information. So I just write it down. I actually just fill out the app when I'm at the pump. We, okay, we've actually talked about that, and I don't know. It's a weird thing for me because I mean that's actually where I got my start was following Kevin's stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then Kevin did some changing and things changed and yeah, whatever. Yeah, and as far as the price goes, I mean the price is typically 3 digits from what I yeah. No, he was talking about Kevin Rutherford. So yeah, anyhow, I noticed the phone's still not ringing, so that's cool. I guess it's over. I don't know. Or Bob left. Who knows? I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at later tomorrow. It's going to be a whole thing on another show. That's fine. That's a good rate since our company gets a discount. It costs the company 52 cents per mile for diesel, including IFTA. That's a pretty crazy price. It's trying to do math in my head and it's not working. My brain is not ready to do math right now, so I apologize. My cigar went out. I've been talking a little too serious and all that kind of stuff. So I apologize. Hey, man, if you guys got any other things you want to talk about, I mean, we could totally lighten up the show if you'd like, because we probably need that. I don't know. Like I said, I apologize to anyone who didn't dig what went down, but I'm sure it'll all be twisted into something more nefarious than what it was, and it'll be my fault that certain names were brought up and all that. I dig it, Craig. Seriously, um, I honestly, I wouldn't be in business if it weren't for Kevin Rutherford. Seriously, he set me down a path that led me into the right directions and got me asking the right questions and doing the hard work as we all, the those of you who know Fockers. I have to say that very carefully. No, do the hard work, right? So yeah, I mean, we do what we do. Uh, Matt, my truck needs that infamous Charlie touch on her tires. Man, I do touch a lot of tires. It's not creepy at all. It's love. Dude, right? John, for real. Like I can't get enough of them. I am absolutely stuck on them. Can never get enough. The good ones, the bad ones, the really bad ones. I'm like, why are you making this video? Because you're bad at this video. Like you should not be. You're making First Amendment auditors look bad, and yet I watch it like a train wreck that's happening in slow motion. I'm going to disagree. Um, yeah, I'm going to disagree. There's a lot of information that is not public that says the exact opposite. So let's just let it end there. How's that? Anyhow, uh, Tom Bill, I watch Blue Ribbon Logistics, and I'm not headed to Landstar, but I learned from them. Yeah, like seriously, look, there's a lot of places to learn stuff from, man. You know, I watch a lot of weird stuff too, though. That I I I don't know. I get sucked in those First Amendment audits. Seriously, I get sucked into like deep. And there's a lot of other weird stuff that I watch. I mean, that other people are like, dude, what's wrong with you? CW said Charlie touched my tires once, and my truck went in a corner and cried for a week. Had to get a loaner truck. I don't think that's true. I think every truck that I touch likes it. I tell them they like it, so they must like it. Tom said, "How many companies do you know that run the exact same tires across the fleet? We run Virgin Michelin's on drives and Bridgestills on Sears. Look, look, man, you're at a good spot. Seriously, but you are also aware that you are not at the norm. I mean, it should be the norm, but that is not the norm. You know that, especially even with you said what 325, 350 trucks, even a fleet that size. I mean, that's you found a great spot, man. I wouldn't leave that, you know, except that I like what I'm doing now. So I like being in charge of what I do. I like the challenges of what I do. And I like doing the things that I do. And this contractor's corner thing that we're trying to build, that's another a whole new adventure for me. It gives me a whole new thing to focus on top of the running the trucking business, right? It's a little much sometimes, but it's cool. Tom said there's so many drivers that have zero clue on what air pressure should be in their tires. They ask some mechanic or a shop, but never read the tires. Right? Seriously, like legit. Look, I I could go somewhere here, and I'm not even gonna do it. Just not even gonna do it. Got a whole nother thing I could go off on there. Oh, rear main seal. That sucks, bro. What the hell happened? Wait, is that on the newest truck you got? Didn't you just replace a truck, or are you still waiting to replace? I can't remember, Victor. Pass through an Oklahoma scale and they'll enlighten the driver to air pressure. There's a lot of scales now that had those nice nifty little heat monitors now to look at your tires. I think those are awesome. Is tire code for something? Because you guys really seem to get worked up over it. Just saying. No, Brian. Like literally, I am known for touching people's tires. I run my hand over the treads this way, and I rub in and out, and I caress the corners and the edges, and I look at them very closely because the what you can feel on a tire will tell you a lot about the alignment, the tire, the pressures. I mean, just so many different things. And tires being so expensive, I mean, it's huge. And particularly when I was, running wide singles. I mean, retail price is $1,200 a tire. Last time I bought them, I mean, I didn't pay that at Swift, but retail. Looking at retail price, I mean, it was insanity. And man, yeah, and let's face it, your life depends on those tires, right? So I am a very intimate person with my tires. I touch them repeatedly. Every day I touch my tires. I mean, religiously. And people look at me very odd. And when I talk to people and I'm standing in their truck, they'll see me. I'm like, hey man, I'm start stroking your tires, and I can tell them things. Hey, you're heavy on your foot when you take off the line, aren't you? And they're like, yeah. How'd you know? Well, because you got this heel toe wear. Or you've got this toe in, toe out issue. You might want to get your alignment checked, things like that. Like Craig says, tires and alignment play a big part in your operation. Absolutely. My steers are on 120. My drives are 110. Checked with calibrated gauge at every pre-trip. Look, man, you do you. I run 115 all the way around. I aired a 115 at sea level in the dark, as cold as I can get. I'll allow them to drop to a 110 before I re-air. That's pretty much what I do. Dang it, Charlie, you started talking about that rubbing, and my truck started regen. I honestly can't remember the last time my truck regen while I was parked. It's weird. Uh, Brian just got a ride out of Garland, Texas, with a Fort Worth, Texas to Brookhaven, Mississippi. That's halfway back to Florida, and my beautiful wife. Nice, man. I'm glad you finally got it back, dude. Seriously, I know it's been a minute. Tom Bell, it's just over 3 years of driving. I've had one tire blow out on the tractor, just one. Tom, I'm going to knock on wood. I'm banging on the desk. I have not had a catastrophic tire failure the entire time I've been a contractor, well over 10 years. Because I started being a tire molester as a company driver, listening to Kevin Rutherford and Mike Beckett. Seriously. I mean, trailer tires, man, look, you can't keep up with those damn things because, it's not something I can monitor every day for other people's negligence and the quality that we pick up. Sometimes you're just like, man, this is not going to last. And it's not going to last, but they won't replace it till it blows up. But I have not had a catastrophic tire failure on a tractor since I've been a contractor. I've had a couple of flats, like while I was parked or in a parking lot or something like that were slow. Like, oh crap, there's a bolt in it, and it's like psh, that type of thing. But not a catastrophic tire failure. And I've never lost a steer as a professional driver. Oh, so it was on the newer truck. Man, that sucks. Oh yeah, thank God for the warranty. How long were you down though, Victor? That I bet that sucked. And Tom, yeah, checking those tires religiously on your tractor can nearly eliminate tire failure. Absolutely. And look, man, I'm with you. I I am a molester. I admit it freely. I'm a tire molester. God, that clip's gonna get cut. Great. I am a tire molester. Oh Lord, I can already see the clip coming out of that one. CW said, "Yeah, knock for me too. I bought a set of drives a couple months ago, and the sidewall blew out with 4,000 miles. That's crazy." I had one time that was a drive tire that I got one of those great big old frog bubbles on the side. I mean, it was like massive, and I had stopped. Something was a little weird, and we had stopped and decided we were going to hang out for a little bit. So I got out and walked around, right? Molested my tire, found that frog bubble in between one of the drive sets, and was like, "Oh crap!" No, in fact, that was on a wide single that I had a frog bubble, and luckily it was an older tire. But I was out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I was like running like Eagle Pass to Portland or something like that. So I was on that back road. I can't remember what the road is, and we were 140 miles from the Loves, and like I don't know 110 miles from anywhere behind us, and we it took us like 5 hours for them to find anyone to come out there. They brought me some crappy ass wide single that I ended up replacing like the next day because it was just that bad. But it got me out of there, so that was cool. What does a blue Swift tractor signify? Uh, Nothing anymore. It's any color is anything at this point. The only thing that really signifies anything at this point is the gray ones tend to be reefer trucks, part of the reefer fleet. It used to be white trucks were company trucks, blue trucks were contractor trucks. Now it's not so much. Thompson, when I was at Arter, the shop Penske replaced just the left steer tire. They were very unhappy when I told them I wasn't taking the truck until both were replaced. Right? Yeah, I had one of those arguments once, and it was funny. And they didn't believe me, so I drove home. 107 miles to my house in my car. Came back 2 days later. Had two new steers. Just saying. Sometimes you got to stick to your guns. Sometimes they call you on it and you go, okay. Unfortunately, though, that could have backfired terribly, I guess, because they'd have been like, fine, go. That would have sucked. Oh, that's not too bad, Victor. 2 days isn't horrible. I mean, you know as well as I do, that could have took a week the way things have been going lately. But hey, guys, you know what? We've been on here rambling for a while. If I mean, unless you guys want to hang out more and you got some questions, I'd be happy to hang out and talk some more if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'm sure I done pissed off another portion of the world already, which is probably going to bite me in the backside tomorrow or tonight, or my phone's already gotten blown up with texts. Who knows? Oh, oddly enough, no text. That's cool. So yeah. What'd you say? Tom said I just watched a blue Swift Volvo play create a spot. Obviously, y'all don't have sitting duck policy. Actually, yes, we do, and that doesn't matter. Some people don't. Look, man. There are absolutely places I will not park. Don't park at the end of a row. Don't park on ramps or off ramps. You know, I don't know. They seem like smart choices to me, but other people don't seem to think the same. Time for TikToks. Look, don't. I'm not going there. I'm gonna go eat dinner and actually get through this damn cigar that I tried to light like 2 hours ago when we started this. Or wait, maybe I don't know. Maybe this is my second. I don't know. I've lost track. But hey, thank you guys for popping in. And I'm gonna get laughed at for, all 25 of you that showed up today. Whatever. She actually just walked out of here, CW. She came in, snuck in, grabbed something out of a drawer over here, and then snuck out. But I will let her know you said hello. She's over there hanging out with the grandkids and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Usually when we're home, she's hanging out with the kids. TikTok has been listening. You'll get a tire point. Right? No, man. No, man. Hey, it's too bad Bob wouldn't call in. I would have enjoyed speaking to Bob the builder on the phone. I think that might have been interesting to have that phone conversation. Maybe one day Bob the builder will call in. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know. Hey, if there was anything of joy in here, not that I normally do this, but hey, hit that button. It's free. Just saying. Or you know what? Or don't, because that'll give other people something to talk about. They'll be like, "Oh, look, he didn't get any thumbs up," and that's great because they're terrible YouTubers and whatever. So hey, we will be back next Tuesday for our normal live weekly update. Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're trying to get Ian DeGray in. Ian DeGray. Brett's been coaching soccer on Tuesday, so we're not going to be able to get Brett for a few Tuesdays, and so yeah. But we wanted to talk about the camera stuff and how few people seem to actually know about this camera thing coming up, even though it's been all over the place. So yeah, right, CW. But we're gonna try and get him in next week, maybe the week after, if that's what has to happen. So we will let you guys know. And seriously, you guys be careful, be safe. Thank you for spending your time with me. And we do appreciate it. That's funny, Blackbeard. I'm not even going to put that up, but I just know that that's funny. You guys, seriously, take care of each other. And we will see you Tuesday. Anyone, feel free to hit me up on the Facebooks, PM me. Those of you got my number, hit me up there if you'd like to. That's fine. And I'm going back to work tomorrow. I'll be back on the road doing the Target stuff. So yeah, hit me up if you need anything. You guys be careful, be safe, all that wonderful stuff. I'm rambling. Bye bye.